Hey, welcome to Live from Dennis's house. Today we're going to be doing Billy Idol, Rebel Yell, and my guest is the great Doug Desilva. So we got a lot to do today, but what I want to talk about, my original guest was supposed to be Joe Desilva, Doug's brother, but he's on mandatory quarantine now. I heard for Ebola. He was making out with a West African guy or something.
Yeah, no, the waitress actually.
Well, anyway, he canceled twice on me, and as Doug knows, it's like the Joe Roulette, right? If you make plans, there's like maybe 10% chance he shows up. But what do you think the odds are that he shows up to any given thing? It's like 10%? Is that too high?
Yeah, 10%. I mean, more now than ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, more now. Back in the day, it wasn't even 10.
So, Joe is actually good friends with Billy Idol. We're going to get all to that. We're going to talk about all this stuff. I'm going to combine this week, I'm going to combine my rant of the week with the Ebola report. And we got Joe calling in on the phone. He's in Atlantic City right now. But he just called and said he turned his phone on, so call him when we're ready. So we're going to call him in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Alright, so I got a lot of crap here I want to talk about. But I want to talk about Ebola. I do a weekly Ebola report, and I want to give the updates for this week. Have you been keeping track of all this crap that's going on?
You know what, man? No.
Well, now I'm going to fill you in.
Yeah.
So the last I did a report, they appointed an Ebola czar now. And it's not even a doctor. It is just one of Obama's cronies. They just said, all right, this guy, he's a lobbyist. We're just going to appoint him as the Ebola czar.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I haven't heard from him since. I don't even know his name. I don't know anything about him. So, and then the doctor that came back from West Africa ended up with Ebola, and he went around the entire city. He went bowling, he went to the meatball shop, he went to the subway, and then he ended up with Ebola, and that was that. And then the next nurse that came back from Africa, she had a fever, and that's when they said, all right, we're going to quarantine anyone from there, and that's it. So she ended up with a fever, and they said, all right, you're quarantined. And she was like, woo, 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 I don't want to be quarantined. And she ended up suing and making such a big stink.
Is that the one on the news now?
Yeah. And then Obama said, let her go. So she lived in Maine, so they sent her back to Maine. And Christie was still tough about it. You know, he said, I'm still sticking to this.
I saw that,
You know? And then she's all up in arms now that she doesn't want to be under quarantine in Maine either. So she's threatening a lawsuit. If they don't let her out today, she's going to sue them. So it's just, yes, can you believe what this country has come to? That you can't even tell someone you can't go around spreading Ebola. That's against their civil rights.
Violating our civil rights.
Exactly, violating our civil rights. You son of a bitch.
Because they said there's an incubation period too.
Yeah, it's 21 days.
So we say, listen, you can't leave.
Exactly.
And that's the bottom.
So that, because even, we're sending the military over there to help out and do stuff, and that the military has a full incubation period. Any military comes back, they are sequestered for 21 days because they don't want to give it to anybody else. But this woman is so special, God forbid anyone tells her what to do. So I want to ask you, do you think it would be wrong if I wish that she gets Ebola and her entire family dies from Ebola? Would that be wrong for me to say? Would that be bad karma?
I mean, if you want to say it, say it.
Alright, I better not say it then. You see how I circumvent that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't actually say it.
Yeah, you want to pull me into your little fucking spun web.
So, and then everyone is like, oh, don't be hysterical about Ebola. You're all acting crazy. You don't know the facts. Well, either does the government or the CDC. And I actually did a poll. I took a poll of 700 people, Doug. And you know how painful that could be, right?
Yeah, 700.
And only one person said that they trust the government. It was Claude Musselman from Redbud, New York. He was 76. He said he was the only one that trusts the government.
Wow.
So we cannot trust the government to keep us safe. Can't trust them to contain Ebola. So we demand action. And that's another thing. Now they're saying only you can get it from bodily fluids. So I want an explanation of what's bodily fluids. Because I thought saliva is bodily fluid, isn't it? Do I need to drink someone's urine or feces or something? Or what if somebody sneezes? They said there's a chance you can get it from sneezing. But, exactly, just like any other thing. But they're saying, oh no, it's impossible to get Ebola. There's no way you can get Ebola. Well, if that's the case, how did tens, thousands of people get Ebola in Africa if it's so hard to get?
I heard that it's been around for years. I heard 52,000 people died last year from the flu. We didn't hear anything about that. All right? And then I heard this was all generated because of the elections are coming, and they want to, have something on the other side.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is going on here, but it definitely seems politicized here that they won't close the borders. Like, that seems basic stuff. If people are coming in carrying deadly diseases, close the border.
Yeah, they're going to affect us.
Exactly. 30 other countries have done it. It's not like it's a wrong, racist, crazy thing to do. 30 countries have done it. Australia just said they're doing it today.
I hate talking about this stuff.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Rebel Yell. Now, Doug, I think you like Billy Idol a little, right?
Yeah.
Doug's a huge Billy Idol fan. So am I. And, this is perfect time to smell the album.
Yeah, it's old.
This is a good one. Still has the cellophane, but good one. Oh, look at that one. That one looks really old, too. So I got a whole collection here. Now look at that. Show that one, the white wedding one I have in there, too. Well, that one came with a poster.
Yeah.
See if the poster's in there.
Yeah.
That'll be worth money. There it is!
He has the, I'm not even gonna look, I think he has the blue striped shirt on, if I remember right. Oh no,
it's like a drawing or something.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that is awesome.
Yeah,
put it in the camera.
That's very 80s.
That's cool. We should put that out right here.
Yeah, that's an oldie.
In our new studio. Alright. So anyway, this album came out 1983. Billy Idol, he defined the MTV generation, I would say, in the 1980s.
Yeah.
When you think of the 80s and MTV, what, like, 3 or 4 people do you think of?
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol.
And Billy Idol.
But I mean, just when you see MTV, I always think of Madonna.
Too much is never enough.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, he made that statement, too much is never enough. But I always think Billy Idol, Cyndi Lauper, Prince, Madonna, they were all huge at that time.
Turn it on, leave it on. America, see the music you want to see.
I want my MTV. All right.
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
24 hours a day on cable TV.
I want my MTV. Yeah, too much is never enough.
But Billy Idol was the only really cool guy who was, girls loved him, guys loved him, anybody loved him. And he came out of the London punk scene of the 70s with Gen X.
Yeah.
And they broke up in 1980, and he moved to New York City with his girlfriend. What was his girlfriend's name? Anybody know?
Perry Lister?
That's it! Nice! Alright, so then...
he met her in New York.
Yeah, and then, they just, 1980, he was kind of lost. He didn't know what he was doing, had no band, he was wandering around, living it up, getting high every night with Perry, partying. And then he hooked up with Steve, even before that, he went to a club and he heard they were playing Dancing With Myself again. They had disco mixes of that and Moni Moni, and that kind of gave him a resurgence of his career. So he hooked up with Steve Stevens and he did his first album, which had White Wedding on it, which was pretty big, but it didn't really go anywhere until MTV picked it up. And then, it exploded. He was perfect for MTV. With his leather, his spiked hair, and his
and if he didn't look good like Billy Squire, Billy Squire had him on dancing on stage like a fucking faggot, he was washed up.
That was his biggest regret, ever listening to his producer to do that.
That was visual. It wasn't.
That was fruity, yeah.
Everybody got the wrong idea.
That picked up Idol. Kiss's management.
Yes, it's true. Yes, I heard that. Yeah. So that that took off a little bit, but then MTV exploded him.
Yeah.
So then the next album was this album right here, Rebel Yell, a classic, a album for the ages, and it just catapulted him into superstardom, and he went on tour, and he was starting to do stadiums and all this kind of shit, you know.
And this guy right here.
Oh yeah, Steve Stevens.
Dated my best friend's sister, Kevin McDonald's sister.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was Mo, and they're both dead. But first time I met him was in the Bebop Cafe on 8th Street in the Village, and it was when this album came out. And at that time, he was only like 24 years old.
Was he from Staten Island?
He's from Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
All of the band is from Brooklyn except for Billy
okay.
Idol. Yeah.
Well,
Tommy Price was from Staten Island, I believe. Staten Island, Brooklyn.
Is Tommy Price now playing drums for Joan Jett, or has been?
Some, yeah. I mean, I'm not really following him, but I remember seeing Billy Idol the first time. The first person that turned me on to Billy Idol that gave me a cassette was Maddie Guntlack. Her name, I'm in touch with her now on Facebook, but she had given me a cassette. I'll never forget it. That was it for me. And then I went and saw him. I used to see Billy Idol in like '82 at a place called the Brooklyn Zoo.
Oh, yeah.
With Wow Wow Wow. And the first time, I never forget, the first time I saw Billy Idol, the Brooklyn Zoo used to be between two buildings, and you had to walk like 40 feet, and then there was the club. And me and my old girlfriend Donna were at the end, and her grandmother made all our clothes, because there was no punk rock stores then, so you had to make everything in those vintage stores.
Hot Topic wasn't there at the time?
Nah, none of that shit. And then I'll never forget, like a 1938 gangster car pulls up, and Billy Idol gets out with a 3/4 black pea coat, not leather, and just comes walking up. And there was like nobody there, and I was just like, holy shit, here he is. And the one thing that caught my eye about Billy Idol, I liked him, was when they were playing, he was on stage, he was always off beat, man. He wasn't like, on the time of the beat, he was just like, and he was constantly moving, he looked fucking awesome.
Yeah. So did you ever get to sing with him or anything?
Yeah.
Didn't you go on? Yeah, so I thought. Tell us about that one. That was a good story.
In '87, it was, I believe it was in Jersey, yeah. It was the Cult opened up for them. And long story short, we were there, and I knew I was going to go down, blah, blah, blah. I worked my way down to the side, and I was on the side of the stage, and I saw all this, all this stuff, and I was like, all right, I can jump up. I waited till like probably the second to last song, and they were singing Blue Highway.
Oh, okay.
And I ran up there, and I'll never forget it. I see him, and I grab him like this, and he looks at me, and he just gives me the mic, and he's like, sing it. Boom! I grabbed the mic, and I pretty much finished the song. The lights came on, I was like, holy shit. And then just as it was over, security had grabbed my belts. So I had like the same belts on. Grabbed me and pulled me back. And then as they were walking me out, they were nice to me. Duff from the Cult was in the hallway on a skateboard. And he's like, oh,
that's awesome. So yeah, in case Joe doesn't come back, he's like almost friends with Billy Idol, kind of friends. He's met him and hung out. I remember the last goddamn time when he was playing in Atlantic City, and I was gonna come, you guys were going, and I was gonna come, and I was tired. I think my wife was giving me shit. And then I said, no, I'm not gonna go.
He called me on the phone, Billy Idol right next to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My wife still got it on the phone.
So yeah.
Got me to meet him.
That was the time when I said, no, I'm not going to go. And then, like, later on that night, I see pictures of Facebook, Joe hugging Billy Idol. I was like, damn, I missed it. So, as you can see, this is my new Billy Idol book that I got signed, and I got to meet him. I'll put that picture up for sure. But there it is. Look at that. Signed signature by Billy Idol. I didn't read the book yet. I should have probably read that before the show.
That's all right.
But I do.
You do a part 2.
Yeah, some things about him when I get Joe to come on. Yeah, the part 2.
This picture.
So Billy had a real rock and roll lifestyle. He lived it up to the fullest. That he OD'd a couple times. And one time in front of a Hollywood club, he just collapsed, OD'd on GHB, whatever it was, or something. And then a good story was, one time he was in Bangkok, and I'm not making this up, that's really weird. He spent 3 weeks going crazy in the Bangkok penthouse, right, living it up, and he was trashing the place, getting wasted, but then some important dignitary from the country needed the room. And the hotel was trying to tell him to get out, and Billy wouldn't get out, and he wouldn't give it up. So the army had to come in, and they tied him to his stretcher, and they carried him out and put him on a plane out of the country. So, yeah. And then he was arrested in Washington Square Park in New York for cocaine possession, but he was with a different girl, too. So it said Billy arrested with his girlfriend, and then his girlfriend was in London watching this on TV, and she's like, that's not his girlfriend. And then, he had a really bad motorcycle accident, almost lost his leg. He broke his arms, ribs, clavicle, all that kind of stuff. But I think the funniest story I heard was that, did you hear about this, how he got caught cheating one time? That him and Perry Lester had the baby. They were living out in L.A., and, so he went up to the baby's room to make a private call. He said, I'm going to call my friends. I'm going to go ride on a motorcycle. And so he calls up a girl, and he's like, how's it doing, baby, all this stuff. I'm going to pick you up at 2 o'clock today, right? And then he goes back down, and she's by the pool, and she comes storming at him in rage. And he's like, how the hell did she know? How did she hear? And then she lifts up the baby monitor and shows it to him.
Busted.
Yes. So he was busted, and that was that. So, what are you going to do?
That's rock and roll.
Yeah, that's rock and roll. But he's cleaned up now. He said he only smokes weed and has wine and with dinner and stuff. He looks great, and the reason why he cleaned up, he said, is because someone said to him, if you die, your son is never going to forgive you for dying. And he said, wow, that's something. So you better straighten my act up. So
That's it.
and that's that.
Came full circle.
Yes, and now he's back out with the book.
Even if he never made another record again.
Of course, this stuff is so good that it will last forever. Just imagine writing even one of these songs, let alone all of these things. So all right. So he's got a new album out now. I don't know. Have you heard anything from the new album? I haven't heard it yet. Have you? All right, I'm gonna have to check that out. But he's gonna be touring. We should go see him this time for sure with Joe.
I don't know if they're coming to Atlantic City. I heard only Philly.
He's gonna be Philly, New York.
The TLA?
I don't know.
The TLA or something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know about that. But all right. So I guess Joe's not gonna call in because we're wrapping up the show now. Right. Well, let's do a review of the album. We'll save the questions in case Joe calls in. So what do you think of that album? Out of 5 stars, how many do you give it?
This is 5.
Absolutely. If there's any album with 5 stars, it's that one.
I wore this out. Grooves. That's how much I was this.
Favorite song?
I was just going to play my favorite song. Doug, what's your favorite song for this?
Oh, man. I mean, I don't even know. Like, at different moments in my life when I got it, every one was a favorite song to me.
All right, so if you're dead and you're in your casket and there was one song, which one would it be?
This is it for me. Eyes Without a Face.
Yeah.
You had to pick one. That was it. It's all over.
I loved Flesh with Fantasy.
That was a good one too. All right, Doug. So we're gonna take some letters that were written in specifically for Joe, but you're gonna have to answer as if you were Joe, since Joe's not calling in.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
Here we go.
You're a piece of
this
shit.
This first one from Richie Strafassi from Staten Island, New York. He writes in, "Hey Joe, you remember that time I kicked your ass on Highland Boulevard?"
Are you serious?
Go ahead. Do you remember him?
No, I don't remember that time.
Do you remember that guy?
No, I don't remember anybody kicking my brother's ass. Only one guy I remember. And it was Lucas. Billy Lucas. He didn't kick his ass, but...
See, Joe, what you missing by not being here? All right.
Joey looked at me and his lip, this part of his lip was hanging down here. Like an inch of his lip was off. He's like, what's up?
Flapping in the wind.
A lot of fights back in the day.
I bet.
Yeah.
All right, so this guy, Harlan Pepper from San Antonio, Texas, writes in, Joe, Giants suck, Romo rules.
Romo rules what? The cock? That's all he rules.
Speaking of football, do you know the guy, the great football player, Dick Butkus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with that name? Because he's the only guy that could pull off having that name. Luckily, I wonder if he was born and was tormented because his name was Dick Butkus, and that's why he became a huge maniac
All right.
or vice versa.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one from Carlo DePinto from Bronx, New York. Joe, this is my advice section. I have a advice section every week, so this one is, Joe, my girlfriend is accusing me of being with another girl. The problem is there are 2 eyewitnesses and a video of me in the act. Should I confess?
Never. Never admit.
Man, a man never gives in.
That ain't me.
That's what Eddie Murphy said.
Joe,
Wasn't me.
Deny.
Deny. Never admit. That's Joey's famous saying.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me. Might look like me. It ain't me.
You know I love you, baby.
Yeah, Joey. Dude, you could have a picture of Joey right there. If you look, Joe, this is you. He'd be like, it's not me, dude.
It's not me.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, let's try to call him one more time. Oh, it's ringing. This is it. So this will be the actual 3rd strike, the 3rd time in 1 week that Joe dissed me. I was shocked that he even agreed to this. That's good, because he was the one. He asked me if he could come on the show, and I said, yeah, sure. So then I texted him, and I said, you want to be on the show? He texted right back in 30 seconds. He said, yes, definitely. You know, all this. And I said, all right.
On Sunday morning.
No, it was going to be like Friday night or something of last week. And then he said, oh, can we do it next week? So, oh, he's got a fishing tournament, so he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then...
They won.
Did he really?
$18,000.
Get out.
Yeah, they won.
Didn't I say that on the show? The IRS will get him.
It was $18, I think.
All right, well, that's it. We're done with the show. Thanks for coming on, filling in the last moment here. And
this
we're going to play ourselves. We're playing White Wedding. Oh, no, I'm going to record something from the show on Friday, too. It's going to be awesome. All right, live and dead is his house. We're out of here. Later.
See ya.
John's starting off. White Wedding, take 1.
Take 1.
Start again. world, and there's nothing pure in this world. There's something left in this world. Start again. Oh, it's a nice day for one way. It's a nice day to start again. Yeah, it's a nice day to start again. What you want is a nice day for one way. And it's a nice day to start again. Yeah, well, it's a nice day to start again. What you want is a nice day to start again. Here we go. Oh, it's a nice day to start again.
Too much is never
Enough.
Pretty women are walking with gorillas down my street. From my window I'm staring while my coffee goes cold. Look over there, there's a lady that I used to know. She's married now or engaged or something, so I'm told. Is she really going out with him? Is she really gonna take him home tonight? Is she really going out with him? 'Cause in my eyes, don't see this somewhere going on around here. Yeah. Tonight's the night when I go to all the parties down my street. I wash my hair and I keep myself out of the real school.
Look over there.